Quick disclaimer, this is an AI voice, which is not going to be perfect. There is a transcript in the description as well as subtitles for you to read along with. Conservatism seeks to conserve society as it is and is suspicious of change. Conservatism values pragmatism over ideological thinking, seeking to adapt its values over time according to changes in society. However, new right-thinking within conservatism in the 1970s and 1980s challenged much of what conservatism had traditionally stood for. There are many ideas and principles that shape conservatism, including pragmatism, tradition, human imperfection, organic society and state, paternalism, and libertarianism. Pragmatism promotes a flexible approach to society with decisions made based on what works, relating to conservative ideology by valuing practical experience over abstract principles. Pragmatism links with traditional conservatism by valuing practical solutions rooted in experience and gradual evolution over rigid ideology. It connects with One Nation philosophy by promoting policies that balance social cohesion with economic growth, addressing the needs of all societal segments to maintain harmony and stability. Based on the idea of pragmatism, the conservative view on human nature is that humans lack the intellectual ability to understand the realities of the world. Based on the idea of pragmatism, the conservative view on the economy is that there should be a combination of market competition and government regulation, which promotes growth and social stability by creating wealth and funds state welfare. Based on the idea of pragmatism, the conservative view on society is that ideas and principles such as equality and rights are dangerous because they can lead to radical change, which produces worse conditions. Based on the idea of pragmatism, the conservative view on the state is that it should take a pragmatic approach that emphasizes caution and moderation and will introduce necessary changes or reforms without endangering social cohesion or stability. Tradition is the accumulated wisdom of past societies and serves as a connection between generations, relating to conservative ideology by emphasizing the continuity of established practices over radical change. Tradition creates stability by grounding society in established practices that have been proven to work over time. It links with organic change by allowing gradual evolutionary adaptations that respect and build upon past experiences. Tradition enhances human security by providing a sense of continuity and reliability, offering guidance and reassurance in an uncertain world. Based on the idea of tradition, the conservative view on human nature is that individuals are inherently flawed and need the guidance of historical experience to navigate life effectively. Based on the idea of tradition, the conservative view on the economy is that it should use a time-tested system combining free markets with responsible moderation to ensure sustainable wealth. Based on the idea of tradition, the conservative view on society is that social structures and norms, which have evolved over time, should be preserved to maintain order and stability. Based on the idea of tradition, the conservative view on the state is that it should preserve historical practices, cautiously implementing reforms that respect and uphold the continuity of society. Human imperfection is the idea that humans are flawed, which makes them incapable of making good decisions for themselves. There are three aspects of human imperfection, which are psychological, moral, and intellectual imperfection. Psychological imperfection is the idea that humans desire familiarity, safety, and the security of knowing their place in society and need social order instead of liberty. Moral imperfection is the idea that humans naturally act out of self-interest or with unethical motives, often compromising collective well-being with antisocial or criminal behavior. Intellectual perfection is the idea that humans lack the ability to understand the world, resulting in flawed reasoning and misjudgments in decision-making. Based on the idea of human imperfection, the conservative view on human nature is that individuals are inherently flawed and lack the ability to make consistent and good decisions, which means they require external guidance and support. Based on the idea of human imperfection, the conservative view on the economy is that there should be a framework combining market mechanisms with oversight to prevent the excesses of human greed and irrationality, ensuring economic stability. Based on the idea of human imperfection, the conservative view on society is that social hierarchies and established norms are necessary to provide structure and prevent disorder, as individuals are prone to moral and behavioral shortcomings. Based on the idea of human imperfection, the conservative view on the state is that it should play a paternalistic role, providing authority in order to counterbalance human weaknesses and maintaining a stable society. An organic society and state is the idea that the society and state as a whole is more important than any of the individuals in it. Organic society and state links to the belief in authority by emphasizing that a structured hierarchical system is necessary to maintain the stability and function of the collective society, which is seen as more important than individual autonomy. It relates to the belief in hierarchy by reinforcing that a clearly defined social order is essential for the proper functioning of society, with each level contributing to the overall cohesion and efficiency of the state. Organic society and state supports the idea of a cohesive society by asserting that a unified, connected community is stronger and more resilient than a collection of isolated individuals, promoting social harmony and stability. Based on the idea of organic society and state, the conservative view on human nature is that individuals are inherently connected and dependent on a larger social order which supports them. Based on the idea of organic society and state, the conservative view on the economy is that economic activities should serve the collective well-being, balancing individual needs and wants with the needs of the community to ensure overall prosperity. Based on the idea of organic society and state, the conservative view on society is that social institutions and norms should be maintained and respected as they combine individuals into a functioning society. Based on the idea of organic society and state, the conservative view on the state is that it should protect societal cohesion, prioritizing the stability and unity of the collective over individual interests. Paternalism is the power used from above by the state that governs in the interests of the people. Traditional conservatives interpret paternalism as an authoritarian approach where the state has control and makes decisions for individuals, believing that the state knows what is best and should enforce compliance for social order. One Nation conservatives view paternalism as a moral obligation of the wealthy and state to support individuals who cannot care for themselves, ensuring a safety net to promote social cohesion and equality. New Right conservatives reject paternalism because they prioritize individual freedom and market mechanisms over state intervention, advocating for minimal government involvement and self-reliance instead of direct moderation or support. Based on the idea of paternalism, the conservative view on human nature is that individuals often require guidance and intervention from the state as they are unable to make well-informed decisions for their own welfare. Based on the idea of paternalism, the conservative view on the economy is that the state should regulate economic activities to protect individuals from the inequalities of a free market, which ensures a balanced and fair distribution of resources. Based on the idea of paternalism, the conservative view on society is that structured intervention from the state is necessary to address social inequalities and support individuals who are unable to provide for themselves, which maintains social harmony. Based on the idea of paternalism, the conservative view on the state is that it should have a guiding role with authoritarian measures to promote the common good and safeguard individuals, which ensures that the interests of society are prioritized over personal freedoms. Libertarianism upholds liberty, seeking to maximize autonomy and free choice. Libertarianism values moral autonomy by advocating for minimal state intervention in personal choices, emphasizing individual freedom and personal responsibility. Economically, libertarianism supports free market capitalism, prioritizing deregulation, privatization, and competition to drive efficiency, innovation, and wealth creation. Based on the idea of libertarianism, the conservative view on human nature is that individuals are able to make rational choices and should be free to act on their own values and preferences. Based on the idea of libertarianism, the conservative view on the economy is that it should be driven by the market with minimal government intervention, allowing competition and entrepreneurship to function and drive economic growth. Based on the idea of libertarianism, the conservative view on society is that it should be organized around voluntary associations and interactions, with individuals free to pursue their own goals without constraints imposed by external authorities. Based on the idea of libertarianism, the conservative view on the state is that it should limit its role to protecting individual rights and enforcing contracts, avoiding unnecessary interference in personal and economic affairs to maximize the autonomy and freedom of individuals. There are three different strands within conservatism, each with different views and tensions. These strands include traditional conservatism, One Nation conservatism, and New Right conservatism. Traditional conservatism emphasizes a commitment to hierarchical and paternalistic values, advocating for social order, respect for authority, and the belief that established institutions and leadership are essential for maintaining stability and guiding society. The traditional conservative view on human nature is that people are inherently unequal, with some naturally suited to lead and others to follow, which means that there is a need for a social structure where individuals with wisdom and authority guide and protect individuals that are less capable. The traditional conservative view on the economy is that it should make use of social hierarchies, with the wealthy and educated taking on leadership roles in economic management, ensuring that the economy serves the common good while preserving the current systems. The traditional conservative view on society is that a well-ordered society requires clear social roles and responsibilities where individuals respect authority and tradition to ensure social cohesion. The traditional conservative view on the state is that it should uphold social order and protect the interests of all individuals, particularly the most vulnerable, through a stable government. The traditional conservative view on pragmatism is that decision-making should be based on practical wisdom and human experience, where leaders make cautious and moderate changes to preserve stability and avoid radical change. The traditional conservative view on tradition is that it leads to a stable society, with customs and practices passed down through generations, providing a framework for order and continuity, ensuring that the wisdom of the past guides the present. The traditional conservative view on human imperfection is that individuals are inherently flawed, which means that there is the need for strong leadership and established institutions to guide individuals and prevent chaos and disorder. The traditional conservative view on organic society and the state is that society functions as a connected organism where each individual has a specific role to play and the state acts as the guide, ensuring that these roles are maintained for the greater good. The traditional conservative view on paternalism is that individuals in positions of authority have a duty to care for and protect those less capable, making decisions that benefit society as a whole, even if it limits the freedom of individuals for their own well-being. The traditional conservative view on libertarianism is that it is viewed with skepticism, as excessive individualism and personal freedom can undermine social order and the cohesive structures that are necessary for a stable society. One-nation conservatism is an adaptation of traditional conservatism that seeks to address the inequalities and social dislocation brought about by capitalism, promoting social cohesion through paternalistic welfare measures and balanced economic policies. The one-nation conservative view on human nature is that while people have inherent inequalities, society should try to close the gap between the rich and the poor, bringing a sense of social responsibility among the privileged to ensure that all members of society are supported. The one-nation conservative view on the economy is that it should balance free market principles with social welfare policies, where the government intervenes to reduce economic imbalance and promote social cohesion, ensuring that capitalism benefits the entire nation rather than just the elite. The one-nation conservative view on society is that it should be inclusive and united, with an emphasis on social cohesion and a commitment to reducing class divisions, ensuring that all citizens have a sense of belonging and responsibility towards each other. The one-nation conservative view on the state is that it should play an active role in regulating the economy and providing welfare, using its authority to maintain social cohesion and prevent class conflict while still upholding traditional values and social order. The one-nation conservative view on pragmatism is that decision-making should adapt to the changes in society and the economy that come from capitalism, where leaders implement reforms that address social inequalities while maintaining stability and national unity. The one-nation conservative view on tradition is that it is important to society, but there should still be gradual social progress, ensuring that traditional values are upheld while ensuring necessary change to keep society cohesive. The one-nation conservative view on human imperfection is that individuals have inherent flaws, which requires strong leadership and the need for social welfare and support systems to help those who are disadvantaged by the inequalities of capitalism. The one-nation conservative view on organic society and the state is that society should function as a single organism, with the state managing the effects of capitalism by promoting social justice and ensuring that all individuals are included in the nation's progress. The one-nation conservative view on paternalism is that it is essential for individuals in power to guide and protect the less fortunate, using their authority to create opportunities and reduce the social divide, even if it requires moderating the freedoms of individuals for the collective good. The one-nation conservative view on libertarianism is that it is approached with caution, as an unchecked emphasis on individualism and personal freedom could worsen social and economic inequalities, which threatens the stability and unity that one-nation conservatism seeks to preserve. The New Right is a political ideology that combines neoliberal economic principles of free markets and minimal state intervention with neoconservative values emphasizing strong authority, social order, and traditional morality. Neoliberalism is primarily focused on promoting free market economics and emphasizing atomistic individualism, advocating for minimal government intervention and maximizing personal freedom and self-reliance in economic and social spheres. The neoliberal view on human nature is that individuals are rational and self-interested, naturally inclined to pursue their own goals and maximize their personal well-being, which means that society functions best when individuals have the freedom to make their own choices without interference. The neoliberal view on the economy is that it should be driven by the free market, where competition, supply, and demand determine the allocation of resources, ensuring efficiency and innovation while minimizing the role of the state in the economy. The neoliberal view on society is that it consists of independent individuals who thrive when they are given the freedom to pursue their own interests, and that social order forms naturally from the interactions of these individuals in a competitive market. The neoliberal view on the state is that its role should be minimal, focused primarily on protecting property rights, enforcing contracts, and maintaining law and order, while refraining from excessive regulation or intervention in the lives of individuals and the functioning of the economy. The neoliberal view on pragmatism is that decision-making should be driven by economic efficiency and market outcomes, where policies are implemented based on their ability to bring about competition and innovation, even if this requires significant change. The neoliberal view on tradition is that it should not prevent progress, as outdated customs and practices can reduce economic growth and personal freedom, with a focus instead on adaptability and openness to change. The neoliberal view on human imperfection is that individuals, while not perfect, are capable of making rational decisions that serve their self-interest, and that these decisions lead to optimal outcomes without the need for external guidance from the state. The neoliberal view on organic society and the state is that society is not a connected organism, but rather a collection of individuals pursuing their own goals, with the state serving a limited role in ensuring that these pursuits occur within the law and respect property rights to support a free market economy. The neoliberal view on paternalism is that it should be minimized, as individuals are best positioned to make decisions about their own lives, and any attempt by the state to guide or protect people is often seen as an unnecessary restriction on personal freedom and the economy. The neoliberal view on libertarianism is that it aligns closely with their principles, embracing the idea that personal freedom and minimal state intervention are essential for a thriving economy and society, and that individuals should have the liberty to make their own choices. Neo-Conservatism is primarily concerned with preventing social fragmentation by advocating for strict law and order policies and upholding public morality to maintain societal cohesion and traditional values. The neoconservative view on human nature is that individuals have inherent tendencies toward disorder and moral weakness, which means that society requires strong moral guidance and discipline to uphold public morality. The neoconservative view on the economy is that while free market principles are important, they must be balanced with moral considerations and a degree of state intervention to protect traditional values and ensure that economic practices do not contribute to breaking of society. The neoconservative view on society is that it is fragile and must be protected from moral relativity and cultural decline, with a focus on maintaining social cohesion through the reinforcement of shared values and strict law and order. The neoconservative view on the state is that it should play an active role in upholding public morality, enforcing laws, and maintaining order, with a willingness to intervene more forcefully in both social and economic matters to preserve the integrity of the nation and prevent the breakdown of social structures. The neoconservative view on pragmatism is that decision-making should be guided by the need to maintain social order and public morality, where policies are implemented to address the threats of social divide and moral decline, even if this requires limiting certain freedoms. The neoconservative view on tradition is that it is essential for preserving the morals and culture of society, with long-standing customs and practices seen as vital for maintaining stability and a sense of continuity in the face of modern challenges. The neoconservative view on human imperfection is that individuals are prone to moral failures and disorder, which means that there is a need for strong leadership and firm laws to guide behavior and prevent society from breaking. The neoconservative view on organic society and the state is that society functions as a connected organism where each part has a role in maintaining the whole, with the state playing an active role in enforcing moral standards and ensuring that the structures of society remain. The neoconservative view on paternalism is that it is necessary for the state to act as a guardian of public morality and social order, intervening in people's lives when needed to protect society from harmful influences and ensure the common good. The neoconservative view on libertarianism is that it is viewed with caution, as excessive individual freedom and minimal state intervention can lead to reduced moral standards and reduce social cohesion, which neoconservatives see as crucial to the stability and well-being of the nation. There are 5 key thinkers for the conservative ideology. These are Thomas Hobbes, Edmund Burke, Michael Oakeshott, Ayn Rand, and Robert Nozick. Thomas Hobbes was a conservative key thinker with the key theories of order and human nature. Hobbes' theory of order is the idea that an ordered society should balance the human need to lead a free life. Hobbes' theory of human nature is the idea that humans are needy, vulnerable, and easily led astray in attempts to understand the world around them. Hobbes' view on human nature was that humans are naturally selfish, driven by fear, and in constant competition, requiring strong authority to maintain order. Hobbes' view on the economy was that it should be controlled by the state to prevent disorder and maintain social stability. Hobbes' view on society was that it is inherently chaotic and requires a powerful authority to impose order and prevent violence. Hobbes' view on the state was that it must be definite, have ultimate political and legal power to provide security and prevent the anarchy of the state of nature. Hobbes' view on pragmatism was that practical considerations of security and order should guide political decisions rather than the ideas of freedom or equality. Hobbes' view on tradition was that it establishes authority and social structures that are crucial for maintaining order. Hobbes' view on human imperfection was that humans are fundamentally flawed, requiring strong control to prevent their destructive instincts from leading to chaos. Hobbes' view on organic society and state was that a strong, unified state is necessary to hold society together and prevent society from falling into chaos. Hobbes' view on paternalism was that the state must guide and control its citizens to protect them from their own dangerous impulses. Hobbes' view on libertarianism was dismissive, as he believed that unchecked individual freedom would inevitably lead to conflict and the breakdown of society. Edmund Burke was a conservative key thinker with the key theories of change, tradition, and empiricism. Burke's theory of change is the idea that political change should be implemented with caution and be organic. Burke's theory of tradition and empiricism is the idea that practices passed down for generations should be respected. Burke's view on human nature was that humans are inherently flawed, limited in reason, and driven by passions, making them reliant on tradition and authority for guidance. Burke's view on the economy was that it should be based on private property and free markets, but regulated by moral and social obligations. Burke's view on society was that it is a complex and organic entity built on shared values, traditions, and institutions that should be preserved. Burke's view on the state was that it is a necessary institution that should be strong enough to maintain order but also respect the accumulated wisdom of tradition. Burke's view on pragmatism was that political decisions should be guided by practical experience and historical context rather than abstract theories or radical change. Burke's view on tradition was that it is the accumulated wisdom of past generations and should be preserved as it provides stability and continuity. Burke's view on human imperfection was that humans are imperfect and flawed, requiring the guidance of tradition, authority, and established institutions to maintain a stable society. Burke's view on organic society and state was that society is an organic whole, where each part plays a role in maintaining the health and stability of the entire system. Burke's view on paternalism was that the state and social institutions have a duty to guide and protect individuals, particularly in maintaining moral and social order. Burke's view on libertarianism was critical, as he believed that excessive individualism could undermine the society and lead to chaos and instability. Michael Oakeshott was a conservative key thinker with the key theories of human imperfection and pragmatism. Oakeshott's theory of human imperfection suggests that society is unpredictable and humans are imperfect. Oakeshott's theory of pragmatism is the idea that decisions should be made based on what works. Oakeshott's view on human nature was that humans are inherently limited in their understanding and capabilities, making them prone to err and requiring guidance. Oakeshott's view on the economy was that it should develop organically without heavy intervention, respecting established practices and traditions. Oakeshott's view on society was that it is a complex and evolves slowly, shaped by the accumulated experiences of generations. Oakeshott's view on the state was that it should preserve order and tradition and avoid large schemes for social planning. Oakeshott's view on pragmatism was that political decisions should be made based on what works, focusing on maintaining stability rather than pursuing ideological goals. Oakeshott's view on tradition was that it is essential for providing continuity and stability in society, as it includes the collective wisdom of past generations. Oakeshott's view on human imperfection was that humans are naturally flawed and must rely on established practices and institutions to navigate the uncertainties of life. Oakeshott's view on organic society and state was that society should be seen as an organic entity evolving naturally over time and resistant to radical change. Oakeshott's view on paternalism was that the state has a role in guiding individuals and maintaining social order, but should do so with a light touch, respecting individual autonomy. Oakeshott's view on libertarianism was skeptical, as he believed that too much individual freedom could lead to instability and the erosion of social cohesion. Ayn Rand was a conservative key thinker with the key theories of objectivism and freedom. Rand's theory of objectivism supports the virtues of rational self-interest. Rand's theory of freedom supports a pure, laissez-faire capitalist economy. Rand's view on human nature was that humans are rational beings who has the aim to pursue their own happiness. Rand's view on the economy was that it should be entirely free from government interference, operating on the principles of laissez-faire capitalism, which is an economic system where the government minimizes its intervention, allowing businesses and markets to operate freely based on supply and demand. Rand's view on society was that it should be a collection of individuals pursuing their own self-interest with minimal collective obligations. Rand's view on the state was that it should only protect individual rights, particularly property rights, through the military, police, and courts. Rand's view on pragmatism was negative, as she believed in philosophical principles rather than using practical solutions. Rand's view on tradition was dismissive, as she thought it would prevent progress and individual freedom. Rand's view on human imperfection was that while humans are capable of errors, they have the capacity for reason and can achieve great things through rational thought. Rand's view on organic society and state was that society should not be seen as an organic whole, but as a collection of independent individuals, each with their own goals and values. Rand's view on paternalism was strongly opposed, as she believed it goes against individual freedom and autonomy. Rand's view on libertarianism was largely supportive, as she supported minimal state intervention and maximum individual liberty, although she rejected the libertarian label due to her support of rational self-interest. Robert Nozick was a conservative key thinker with the key theories of libertarianism and self-ownership. Nozick's theory of libertarianism is the idea that individuals in society cannot be treated as a thing or used against their will as a resource. Nozick's theory of self-ownership is the idea that individuals own their bodies, talents, abilities, and labor. Nozick's view on human nature was that humans are independent and capable of making rational decisions for themselves. Nozick's view on the economy was that it should be free from state intervention, allowing individuals to make voluntary exchanges and maintain property rights. Nozick's view on society was that there should be cooperation among free individuals with minimal collective obligations imposed by the state. Nozick's view on the state was that it should be limited to protecting individuals from force, theft, and fraud, and enforcing contracts. Nozick's view on pragmatism was that political and moral principles should not be compromised for practical considerations, emphasizing individual rights. Nozick's view on tradition was not a central focus, but he generally supported practices that respect individual freedom and voluntary association. Nozick's view on human imperfection was that while humans are capable of error, this does not justify control by the state, and individuals should be free to make their own choices. Nozick's view on organic society and state was that society should not be seen as an organic whole, but rather as a collection of independent persons with their own rights and goals. Nozick's view on paternalism was strongly opposed, as he believed that individuals should be free to make their own choices, even if those choices are perceived as harmful by others. Nozick's view on libertarianism was that it is the most just and ethical political system, as it respects individual rights and limits the power of the state to its most essential functions. Thank you for watching this video on conservatism. I'll see you in the next lesson.